Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make a low budget meal that we've made on this channel before, but decided to go ahead and film it again because it's an oldie but a goodie. Goulash. Everybody has a version that they make, and the South is no exception, and neither is this family. We have our own that we make as well. It's one that I grew up with, a dish that I've grown up with my whole life, but this time I'm going to try to do all of it in one pan, so we'll see how that goes. Normally I do it separate and then dump it all in one pan. We're going to try it just a little bit different today. I was looking at another channel, Collar Valley Cooks, and they put beef broth in theirs and do it all in one pan. So that is really the only difference that me and her have as far as the recipe goes. So we'll try that today and see if we can do it as good as she can. You're going to need about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of ground beef. Maybe even, this may even be 2 pounds. And 1 onion chopped. And I'm going to cook them together. So let me get that in here. And while that's cooking, I'm going to go and get all the other things that I'm going to need to make this. If you have a meat chopper, that is your best friend. You need to use that if at all you have one. One of these little things. They're the best. They can make just a little pound of meat look very mighty. So I try to use it whenever I can. The only thing is that things stick to it. So you're going to always have to have something handy beside you to scrape it off with. But I've got this on medium-high heat, and I'll be back in a few, and hopefully this will be done when I come back. And let me go ahead and get my other ingredients. Okay, y'all. So please forgive all the noise in the background. I've got the dishwasher going, the washing machine going, everything's going. So we've got our meat and our onions done. I've drained them, put them back. You are going to need 2 to 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Woo. Let's go ahead and put 3. Okay. You are going to need a can of tomato sauce. A can of diced tomatoes, but in this case I've got whole ones that I'm going to have to tear apart because I don't have any diced ones. But that's fine. I really like the texture of a whole tomato that's been tore apart in the goulash. To me, it's better than the texture that, I'm a texture person, that the texture that the diced tomatoes kind of leave. It's a little bit different, and I don't really like it. I go with it if the recipe calls for it, but if I can get out of it, I'm okay with it. So a whole can of sauce, 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and yes, this is messy. A whole can of diced tomatoes, but you can use whole and you'll just have to tear them. Or you could run them through, you know, whatever. You can do whatever. You need a little bit of a bite though to the tomato, not everything saucy. Alright, let me wash my hands real quick. Okay, so in my goulash, I do not put Italian seasoning. If I want spaghetti, I'll make spaghetti. This is not spaghetti to me. It's not. It's got all the makings for it. It's not the same. I want it to be different. So I do not put Italian seasoning in mine. I will put, making a mess. I'll put a little bit of kosher salt, which I will adjust later in case, if I've got to add more. Pepper, of course. And I'm gonna put in some bay leaves, but I wanna wait until I put in the macaroni and the broth. Okay, so, got an onion trying to get out. About 1.5 cups of beef broth. Now this is Tammy and Chris's recipe from Collar Valley Cooks. I've just kind of messed with it a little. Y'all know what? That's what I do. So Chris said he puts 1.5 cups of macaroni. That's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna kind of heap it just a little. Okay? Now I normally don't like to add pasta unless that water's already starting to boil. Kind of gives me a jump start. And it is hot. Yeah, it is hot. But it's just not boiling. Okay, my secret ingredient is bay leaves. I'm gonna put 2 in here. I like the taste that it leaves. And you can buy them pretty cheaply anywhere, but they are such a good condiment, whatever you want to call it, to have in your spice cabinet. The best. I love it. It just does wonders for any dish. I don't know, it just makes it taste like Grandma made it. So, we'll put that in there. We're going to heat this until it boils, and then we're going to turn it down to simmer. You're going to simmer it about probably close to 20 minutes. But you just need to keep stirring it. Not crazy stir, but just keep up with it. Because this liquid can cook out of here fast. So I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on it. And I'll be back with y'all in a minute. Okay, y'all. So it's starting to boil. I had it on medium-high heat. So I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes at this, just literally 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to cut it down, let it simmer the rest of the way, and I should have dinner in no time. I'm going to make some Jiffy Mix corn muffins to go with this, so it's like a little bit of sweet cornbread to go with this. I typically don't do anything. My husband will have like loaf bread or something like that, just plain loaf bread, and that's good enough for him, but I decided to, mix that up real quick. I'm going to show y'all that here in a few, as soon as I adjust the camera, and show you everything at the end. 15-20 minutes or so, and stirring occasionally. Alright, I'll see you back here in a little while. Okay, y'all, so we're going to make us some Jiffy corn muffin mix. It's this box for those of you who don't know what it is. Really easy and simple. You just need an egg and some milk, but if you're like having hard times, powdered milk would work, and I've even tried water. It's not the same, but it'll do. So let me get my 1/3 cup measure. I try to go by the instructions on this one to make sure that I don't mess it up. Okay, if I can get the milk open. There we go. 1/3 cup of milk. And I'll let it run over just a little bit. Just a little. Alright. And usually you can take just a spoon or a fork and mix it together. No problems. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees in this summer heat. And I'm going to pop this in just as soon as it's preheated. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use my muffin tin that's for a whole dozen. But we're only doing 1 box of Jiffy, so I'm not sure that I doubt very seriously it's gonna make 12. I mean, it may. I don't know. I doubt it. That's one reason why I put just a little bit extra milk in there. See if I can get an extra muffin out. Okay. Uh-oh. I have to make another one. Okay. And of course you can double or triple this. Just follow the instructions on the box and buy you some extra packages. No problem. Just that's all I was gonna do. I wasn't gonna do anything special to it. Just make a little bit of sweet cornbread to go with our goulash. All right, I think our goulash is about done. So let me check on that, and I'll be back with you in a few. Okay, y'all, goulash is all done. I tasted it to make sure that my macaroni was how I would like it, and it is. It's al dente, but it's perfect. So I thank Tammy and Chris for that recipe, because looks like I improved just by using some beef broth. Actually, I improved my own recipe, which is very similar to theirs. I didn't even have exact measurements for mine, because my mom just did, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Right now, I'm taking out my bay leaves, if I can find the other one. It's always like that. I can never find the last one. But I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to this, and maybe a tad of pepper. And then when my cornbread comes out of the oven, I will get back with y'all and show you finished product on a plate. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product with the corn muffin. Real easy and simple. It's an old-fashioned type meal, and perfect for a very low budget, and for you to work it into your weekly rotation, especially now during the summertime. We can all use a break on grocery prices. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're going to make a homemade chicken pot pie. It's something that I've done for years and years. I've made my own crust. I've made biscuit crust. I've bought refrigerator crust, pie crust, anything to make these. It's incredibly simple. So I made 2 chicken breast. Now this is going to be leftover chicken. It doesn't have to be breast, but I just did that because it's easier to cook it and chop it. Done. You can use 2 cans of mixed vegetables, drained. I like using veg all the best because it just has a really good flavor that a lot of the other mixed vegetables do not have. But on a budget, I'm not going to do that. I'll just pick up whatever I can get my hands on. And I'm also going to put 2 cans of cream of chicken soup in here. But you can use the family size can, and if you do that, just use 1. Okay, we're going to use 2 of these. Okay, there's that. Check this other can, make sure I got everything. Yep. All right, and go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. While we're making this, and you don't have to be too concerned with the fact that it's not very liquidy. It's kind of like a thick mixture. It'll be fine. The soup is going to become a little bit more like gravy, and you don't have to worry about that. Now, I do put in just a little bit of salt, not much, because the condensed soup does have a lot of sodium. You can also get reduced sodium, by the way, if you prefer. All right. So we're gonna put some salt and pepper into this. And I'm just gonna use my light salt instead of my kosher because I'm trying to not add even more sodium. Okay, that's it. Usually, if I have it out and I don't, I put a little paprika in here. But if you don't have it, it's fine. So I got my deep dish pie pan ready. Make sure y'all can see that. I went ahead and put my rolled out crust in here, and I poked 4 holes in the bottom. And if you notice it's not even around the sides, you can roll that out with some flour and a rolling pin if you want, or you can go ahead and just try to press it in here the best you can because our top crust is probably going to cover that up. So I'm going to go ahead and add all this. Any vegetables that you add to this, you need to cook previous to doing all this. So if you want to add onion and not put onion powder, then you need to saute those in a little bit of oil or butter before you add it. Because this is just to heat everything up and to cook the crust. That's it. Everything else is, you know, cooked already. And this is a deep dish pie pan. So if you don't have one of those, you have one of the more shallow pie pans, you would just use 1 cream of chicken and 1 mixed vegetable. All right, let me get my other crust here. All right. And I didn't roll out any of this. I just left it this way. And then I'm just going to pinch it back. And it may shrink. It may not be the prettiest, but it'll work. Just make sure that you pinch it together and make sure that you vent the top so that the steam can escape. So I'm just going to roll this under, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to take a knife, make sure y'all can still see. Yeah. And it doesn't matter really what design you put in it. Just that. And I don't even brush it with anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a cookie sheet out, or a baking sheet. Put this on it so if it bubbles over, it won't make a mess. And if it looks like the crust is getting browner than I like too quickly, because we're still not bubbling out the top, which will tell us that it's done, then I will just lightly lay a piece of foil over the top. That way it'll protect the crust, not let it brown too quickly, but it'll still keep cooking underneath. Okay, hope that makes sense. 400 degrees until this is bubbling out the top, and then your crust is brown like you like it. Usually takes about a half hour. It could take up to 50 minutes. It just depends on how hot your oven is and everything else. No, honestly, I don't think it'll be longer than 45 minutes. I just never have timed it. So this is just a throw together chicken pot pie I made for the kids a million different times, a million different ways. Like I said, I like the home style vegetables that Veg All makes. That's like my favorite. And it's got like the soup style vegetables in it. They're a little bit different than just regular mixed vegetables, but any mixed vegetables will work. Just make sure you drain them. Okay? All right, I'll see you back here when it's done. Okay, y'all, so this is the pie. It's all done. And I am now going to make some what I call honey butter carrots. I don't know if it's a thing anywhere. I've just always done it for my kids because they like cooked carrots, which I loathe. But open a can of carrots, dump it in a pan, put some butter in it, a couple tablespoons, and then when it's done, I put a little bit of honey in it. And that's how I got my kids to eat carrots when they were, you know, little, and now they still do it because they like it. So I'm going to make some of that with it, but this is the finished product. Pie turned out great. It started bubbling over, so I know it's done. And now I'm going to plate that up and get some carrots going and plate that up and show y'all the end product here in a few minutes. Okay, y'all. So this is the finished product. Bring it up where y'all can see. Pie turned out great. And honey butter carrots. 2 tablespoons of butter, some carrots in the juice, and depending on your taste, if you want really sweet or not, about 1/4 cup of honey. Real honey, not any other kind of syrup or anything like that, honey. But that's it. Real quick meal on a budget, cheap, easy, throw together. We are done. This cooked for 45 minutes. I've never timed it before, so I was kind of looking to, you know, but like I said, tin it with foil to keep the crust from browning too quickly, and just keep an eye on it. When it starts to bubble out the top or bubble off the sides, it's done. Okay, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.